Right, you lot, today we are out with the Sonubaits cameras and we are doing something very, very different. Today, the match fishing is well and truly thrown out the window. We are not doing anything competitive whatsoever, and it's all about having a wonderful, wonderful pleasure session, just like it was back in the day. Just how we all started our fishing off, doing that special type of fishing where you never know what you're going to hook next. That is the exact type of day we're after, and we've come somewhere very, very special. We're at Sparrow Grove, which is actually just down the road from one of our favourites, just down the road from Old Hull Fishery in Middlewich, and this is actually one of Lymm Angling Club's waters, a very, very special lake where there's a chance of hooking something a little bit good. It could be a great big carp, it could be a great big bream, or hopefully, really, really fingers crossed, we're going to catch a great big tench. So we're going to keep things nice and simple. That's what this video is all about, getting back to the enjoyment, but still I want to run through the simple things in prepping your bait on the bank, just all about making things really simple so you can have the best pleasure session you possibly could. And as I say, fingers crossed, catch something a little bit special. So let's get on the box. I'm going to run through the gear, get everything sorted, and yeah, hopefully you can follow me through a lovely day's fishing and we're going to catch a big green-eyed monster with a bit of luck. Right, all kit set up, good to go. I'm just going to run you through a bit of everything and where I've chosen to fish above all else, because we've actually been here a couple of times, me and Andrew May, and we've learnt that all the fish live over there. It took us 2 sessions to actually find out, and yeah, that is where we're going to be targeting today. It's all going to be about simple feeder fishing, and we're going to fish one line. I've set one rod up, or one other just in case, but one rod we're hoping to use, chuck into that far bank with method, hybrid, whatever, pellet feeder, whatever type of feeder you want. Today I've gone with our open alloy feeders, very hybrid-y type feeder. Really, really simple. So let's do the boring bit. Let's go through the kit. Really simple first. I set up one 11-foot feeder rod. I mean, it gives me enough poke to cast. I reckon we're casting about 60, 65 metres over there. So decent chuck with a decent feeder on. I've got a 3,000 size reel. I wish I'd have brought a 4, but 3,000 spot on with 8-pound Horizon Mono one. Yeah, nice, durable, proper line that I can cast hard with, and I can pull really, really hard if any of the big carp or tench try and get into that, get into the tree. Feeder-wise, as I said, quite simple. I'm swapping between the medium and large. I'm going with a medium though. For some reason, I seem to get more bites on a medium. They don't seem to like a lot of bait. I mean, we tried feeding loads of bait in an area, fishing over it. They don't seem to want it. They're a bit clever here because they've been carp fish lots. So I've gone with a simple, elasticated, medium 40 gram open alloy feeder. Yeah, hook wise, really, really simple. I've got a hook length of 0.19, great big gaff on. That's a sample hook that I'm playing with. And as you can see, I've got a spike, or what they call the bayonet, with a 6mm pink wafter. It's one of the very few times I like a wafter. I mean, for whatever reason, I just think they pick it out better. They're used to seeing them with all the carp fishing. So yeah, that is what we've gone with. It couldn't be more simple. I mean, I've clipped up, I know my spot, we are good to go. It's that quick. You're fishing within 10 minutes of being here. It's that easier setup, isn't it? Simply attach your feeder and you are good to go. So bait's all done. We'll chat about that a little bit later. What I want to do first though, I've got all my bait lovely. I want to do 2 things though before I cast in that is definitely a fault people have when feeder fishing. Yeah, assumption is a terrible thing when feeder fishing, in believing that your bait, hook bait or feed around your feeder is doing what you think it's doing. Yeah, by the simple process of simply dropping it in a bait tub, in a bucket, or today because we're pleasure fishing in the edge because it's a lovely clear lake. Look at what your feeder does. It takes 10 minutes of your time maximum to drop a feeder into some water and watch how it breaks down. And then you'll have a very, very good idea of what it's doing on the bottom when you chuck it into the lake. I mean, yes, it may break down a little bit quicker with water movement and pressure and hitting the water, whatever else, but if you get a basic understanding of what it's doing, then you're one step ahead. Because if you're chucking your feeder in and it's not breaking down for 3 or 4 weeks, then there's not much chance of you catching a fish. So put it in, have a look what your pellet's doing, how they're breaking down, and see what's going on. But before we do that, hook bait. As I say, I've gone with a 6mm wafter in this case. So a floatier one. So I've got my little tub of water, and what I want to do is just drop my hook bait in, look at what it does. Because yes, you do get an odd, really buoyant one, and that's the last thing I want. So with that one, I can see that it's lovely, anchored on the bottom. My hook and the bayonet itself is anchoring my hook bait. So I know my hook bait's good. Great, great first step. Next step is to load a feeder, and what I'm going to do today is drop it in the edge. Yeah, so by loading a feeder with the mix that I prepared to go on the feeder, I'm simply going to load it there nice and neatly, exactly as I would when I'm casting it in. And I'll even squeeze it exactly the same as I would as if I'm casting in, because what's the point doing it any differently? And literally what I'm going to do is drop my feeder in the edge when I'm happy with it, and hopefully you lot will be able to see. Well, I know you will, because we'll make sure you can. And I'm going to drop that feeder in the edge there in this case, and I want to see what it does. Yeah, I'll have a little look. I might have a little guide at me watch as well, just see how many minutes it takes, how many seconds it takes, just to break down, so I know it's fishing. I know I'm fishing effectively, so I know what my feeder's roughly doing when it's in the lake. So great, great, great big edge that. So I'm going to let that waffle down, let that break down, try and not get caught on this bulrush. You can see that's already making steps to breaking down slowly. So at the minute, my bait's just becoming visible, so I'm fishing. Yeah, immediately I'm fishing. A fish could easily pick that bait up. If it stays on my feeder, great. If it moves just off it, don't mind either way. I know that I'm fishing fairly quickly. Within a minute, I could easily be catching a fish, which is probably the length of time it's going to take to sink my line. And hopefully by the time I put my rod on the rest, it's ready to go round. But so I know above all else, it's not breaking down, which can be a problem if you don't prep your pellets right. So with that, I'm good to go. So now we're going to load it up properly, wang it out there and see what happens. Right, so we know that that feeder breaks down beautifully. Just going to clean it because I don't want my old pellets to be on my feeder from the previous drop in the edge. And we're going to load it up and chuck it out there and see what's going on. So no feed has been fed into the peg. I've not pre-basted it or anything. It's a pleasure session. So I literally want to have a couple of casts first, just chucking in, just seeing if there's anything there. So these sorts of venues, because they're quite heavily carp fished quite often, you find that bream and tench and things like that respond very, very quickly to bait because they've got to compete with them big wobbly carp for it. So they're quickly on your bait. So I'm going to launch this feeder just off them far bank reeds where I've clipped up to. And I'm going to have 2 or 3 casts before I might make decisions to change the size of my feeder. I might feed a little bit of bait, put a bait up feeder on, put a couple of feeders worth over there, get things rocking if I need to. But at first I'm just going to have that cast with my feeder that I know breaks down relatively quickly. Yeah, I'm very confident I'm fishing effectively as soon as it's in the water. So see if I can chuck this in the flipping tree. Right, where are we going? We've got a lovely, I'll tell you what I do need some glasses on, or we're not going to cast anywhere near the lake without them. Let's get them in. I'm casting to, that's me marker. So I've got 8-pound line on, no shock leader, nothing, just very, very basic kit. And he's gone in beautifully. That's where I want to be casting, just off them reeds, probably a metre off them reeds. It's a good chuck, but not a silly chuck. And I reckon from past experience on this lake, the fish love it around this big, what is it? Big lovely willow tree, isn't it, opposite? And they seem to like it on the reeds as well, just off it. This side of the reeds, you see a lot of fish cruising, carp in particular. And I think as a result, that's where all the specimen anglers like fishing when they rock up here. So, rod's in, sunk the line, just set that tip beautifully, and sit back and have a cup of tea or something, just chill out, because we're pleasure fishing for once. We're not fishing in a match. It doesn't matter, does it? It's about catching that really, really special fish that hopefully, once I build the peg up with a few casts, we might have a few bream turn up first, and then with a bit of luck, we might catch a tench or a carp at some point. among or after or before the bream, who knows, we'll see. But at the minute, I'm going to try and have sort of 5 to 10 minute casts, try and build up a little bit of a peg, and hopefully something will come along shortly. Right, so quick bait prep and going through what we're using for today's proper exciting little session. And it's a pleasure session, so it's all about keeping things simple. The last thing we want to do is have to prep it night before, all that sort of stuff. It's about impromptu, quick prep of bait that catches fish. Simple as. And what we've gone with is sticky pellets. Both of them banoffee flavour, just because I like the smell of it more than anything. I do like the Scopex one as well, but banoffee, it just smells lovely and makes me all happy while I'm fishing. So that's what we're going with. I'm going to go with 2 mils and 4 mils. So 4 mils are a big part of this, just for that carp angler mentality, some bigger particles, and above all else, so they don't get preoccupied on one bait. Yeah, because we're fishing for quite special fish, some big tench, some big bream. They've seen everything before. They can easy pick out their micros and not pick out anything else. So we're going to confuse them a bit by feeding a bit of both. So first off, the micros are going in, and I'm going to start my stopwatch as soon as I put these in. So I'm just going to put, I'm not going to put loads in, do half a bag. Plenty. I've got my phone here. We're going to stop him, and I'm going to reset, start my stopwatch straight away. They are getting 1.5 minutes. That's all they're getting. The 4 mils, however, exactly the same banoffee ones again. They're getting 2.5 minutes. But I will wait until that's at 2 minutes 45, and then I'll know they're bang on. But what I've also got mixed up for today, if I get rid of that for 1 sec, is a little tiny bit of ground bait. Yeah, a little bit of match method, literally mix 1/4 of a bag. Just by adding a tiny bit of water to it. I want a really dry sandy mix with my ground bait. So you see I've mixed hardly any, probably about 2.5 pints. And all that's for is for changing the consistency that my feeder breaks down. Yeah, it really helps. It's a quick fix as opposed to redoing pellets. I can just add a percentage of ground bait and that can make things absolutely lovely. As you see, I've mixed that really dry. It pretty much wouldn't get to the bottom if I fed it on its own, but comes in really handy if I want to sort their micros out just for probably a quicker breakdown, if anything, by adding a little bit of ground bait. That is what it should do. So, nearly there with the pellets. They've not been in long at all. With the weather being a little bit warmer as well, and that water being quite warm, I do want to leave them, as I say, 1.5 minutes. If it was colder, maybe 2 minutes for the micros, but today, 1.5 minutes is about bang on, and we're pretty much there. And what I'm going to do is get me riddle. Leave that 10 more seconds, dead important. I can't, my OCD will break if I do them any quicker. We're on 125, 126, 127, 1.5 minutes, all good to go. But I need to be quick because I need to be following them up on them other ones. And you can see, they're just nice, really nice. That's that Andrew May bloke, always bothering me. And I'm going to drain them straight onto my riddle. Yeah, get them on there. Lovely, dry as possible. Yeah, shake it off, put them straight in a bucket. Flat surface is really important. Making sure that they're nice and flat on the bottom of the bucket. And what that does in turn, it makes them all soften the same sort of rates so they don't go too crunchy and you don't get different types of pellets. So by having them nice and flat on the bottom, they all behave beautifully. Now, what are we on? 2 minutes and 2 seconds for the next lot. I'm going to do exactly the same with these. These are just going to go in a tub though, because we've not got as many. They'll smell absolutely beautiful. And what I'm after with the 4 mils is these need a bit longer to settle once I take them out of the water. And I want a pellet that it's not fully soft. I don't want it soft all the way to the core. I want it crunchy in the middle, honest, like what they call dime bars. Crunchy on the outside, soft on the inside. Armadillos! That's how we need it. Just to ensure that there's that, they still want to break down. They don't just want to all mold together. Right, what are we on? 45, 2 minutes, 45 seconds, bang on. Lovely, beautiful. Yeah, good to go. And with them, because I've only got 2 buckets, I'm just going to spread them out on my riddle. So by starving them, same again, that nice 1 layer of bait. Just make sure there's no water dripping. And I'm going to put them on top of my pellets, as simple as that. Yeah, I can do that as soon as I get here, ready for my session, put them to the side. By the time I've set my rods up, clipped them up, got my hook clamps on, they're going to be bang on, and I'm going to be able to cast straight into the peg, and with a bit of luck, snare a big ugly tench or a bream, or who knows what we're going to catch today. It's all about the excitement of catching something a little bit special. Right, so we're now 3 casts in, and something happens every cast, but I ain't caught a fish. There's definitely some fish out there. First cast I was very premature and an indication. Put my bum away. Second cast I got a duck bite that was a duck bite, not a proper bite. And now he's just chucked in again, but I'm already confident that there's some fish over there. So we know that's where they live, in that area where the carp anglers are probably feeding. So definitely to begin, I'm having nice fast casts, probably 5-10 minutes maybe. We'll see what goes on, see how many indications I get, see if I can get any liners and things. Just try and build a bit of a peg up. But it's not like commercial fishing when I'm chucking every 2 minutes to ring that dinner bell to get them in peg. It's not the same. You've not got the same numbers of fish to feed in. Don't get me wrong, it could be a silly red letter day when it goes round with a big snotty 6-pounder every go, but more than likely I'm only fishing for a handful of fish. So I need to make the most of it when anything comes into me peg. I don't want to be casting too much with too many little piles of bait dotted all over the place. So being nice and patient. I definitely think that casting's important. I'm going to like contradict myself a little bit, because I think these sort of places, they definitely like a bit of bait going in. They're very tuned into a bait source being introduced, because they're not getting fed anywhere near as much as they do on a commercial. Do you mean it's not a, what would we class this as? It's not a commercial, it's a million mile away from a commercial, but it's not a completely natural lake either. It's a stocked estate lake, I suppose, isn't it? Mini sort of estate lake type thing. I mean, big, deep, clear lake with not huge numbers of fish in, but special fish. So because it's not getting fished really regularly, so they do need to eat. That was an indication then, just something happened then. So there's definitely some fish over there. The only thing I've got is a lot of line between me and that far bank, so any fish passing, there's a good chance it's going to show up as well. But I do think the vast majority of fish are on that 2 or 3 metres from the bank line. That's where they seem to be. There don't seem to be many fish to be caught off it in the few times that I've been here so far. Let's tighten up a little bit on that. So I'm going to be nice and patient on this, give it another 2 or 3 more minutes. So I've had an indication again, so I'm happy that I pretty much had an indication every cast already. So I'm in the area that the fish are in. I just need to be nice and patient and wait for one to pull it in. So I've not seen any signs of fish. I've not seen any fish top in. It's a bit too windy to see any bubbling going on. But there's been no signs of fish splashing out anywhere. I've not even seen any carp, but it's pretty much the perfect conditions for fish to have a feed, isn't it? A bit overcast, a bit cool, nice low pressure, and even more importantly, a bit of a wind on it, which they like a bit of a chop. So surely I've talked it up enough now that it should just go round. Come on. But if not, as I say, a couple more minutes. Launch it in again, keep casting. And hopefully they will come to us. It's not going to be the type of fishing where I'm chucking about trying to find them. I don't think that sort of thing exists on this. And it may be worth feeding a load of bait somewhere, casting over that later on, if this doesn't produce anything. But I think in this sort of situation, I'm best with one area of feed when I'm casting. And if anything's willing, it should find that. So I don't want to split my chances all over my peg. I want to keep them nice and simple. Here we go. That was a proper bite. Is he on? Oh, that was a proper breamy bite there. I thought that was going to be... I still do think it might... I don't know if that's a bream. I don't know if that's a bream or not. This could be something different, very, very first cast. It's a bit more of a positive bite than what I'd expect off the bream, but it's coming in like a big bream now. Might be a great big lad. Not see anything out there. Oh, it's coming in easy now. I don't know if that was just wrapped around it a little bit then when it's first gone. Maybe it's turned on it and maybe my line was just caught on its fin or something. So this is coming in. A lot easier now. Yeah, I think it's a bream. Got all excited for a second then. We hook something different first go. There's something about it, isn't it? Even though they're not the most exciting fish in the world to catch, but oh yeah, he's a very nice breams. There's something about it when it goes round on a rod, on a feeder, and it's at a bit of a distance away and it's a big wobbly slab. Whether it's match angler or pleasure angler, there is still something that gets it. Something exciting about a big bream in it. How big's this one? Oh, he's pulling a bit. For a bream, he's not coming in easy. Oh! Here we go. Number one, free casts in. And what's he? He's a lovely. Oh, in fact, he's quite a baby one for here. He's probably about. Let's get rid of that. What's he? £4. Just under £4. He looks quite a young one for here then. For the ones we caught, but a lovely, lovely start to the session. Hopefully lots more to come. Right, let's get him back in and wang it back out. Let's put him out the way so you lot can see me. See the tip. Yeah, hopefully my wafter's still on us. He stole me wafter. He's stolen me wafter, that one. So reset it all, get the smeg off the line. It's the only thing about them, innit? That's why carp anglers mustn't like them. Because dealing with a snotty bream at 3 o'clock in the morning, I can see the disadvantages to that. But for a normal, just a day's fishing, I'll take him every day, me. Big old bream every day. Got that lovely pink wafter on, nice 6mm. So I've actually, with me wafters as well, that's worth mentioning that I haven't said yet, is that I've treated them with a little bit of our banoffee flavouring. So the liquid flavour version. Just to make them a little bit boosted. You see they're quite slimy and stuck together. Just to give them that little extra boost of a bit more flavour. So maybe it helps them fish find it a little bit quicker. So anyway, all done. Let's wang him back out. Where are we going? Good old chuck. Beautiful. So probably what, 3-4 metres off that far bank. So I'm quite happy with that. I might actually I'm going to take a little turn off and go a little bit closer next time. Go about that close, another metre closer. I think the closer I am to that far bank, without getting right next to the reeds where it's really shallow, I think the more chance of a tench. But we'll have to wait and see. Wait and see. So let me get this line sunk. So proper important that, getting that line under the water, just so with using such thick line, because I've got £8 on, if I left it on top today, I'd say 99% chance are it's going to move that feeder. That's on already, that I know it is. That's ridiculous, isn't it? Actually ridiculous. Not even tightened up to that. So my method feeder's fishing instantly, just like we saw it break down really quickly on the bottom. That's a joke. And considering there's no feed in my peg, how quickly are they responding to that once they found it? I'm just going to start telling you lot about how I have all me bait ready. You're going to have to wait until I've landed this one, chuck back out, and then we'll talk about why I keep things the way I do. But this one's coming in a bit easier. This one's a bit of a smaller one, I think, this one. Much smaller one, I reckon. This is a baby bream. Is he? But he's not that much of a baby. A baby bream on here is £3.5, which like Ferry Meadows, isn't it, I suppose? It's another one. What's that? That's another £4 of that. £3.5. That is 2 in 3 minutes, I'm going to say. He's nearly £4 again, eh? Another lovely big old breams. So let's just sort this feeder out. Let's get back out there again. How good's this? I could genuinely do this. Do you know what I mean? I was talking to Jake off camera. And pleasure fishing's a really difficult one for us because we don't get to go to many exciting places because it's always commercials. Saying that exciting is not the word, different places. Because it's always commercial based, all the fishing we do. So when we get to do something like this, I could do this all day long. I mean, this is pleasure fishing, isn't it? It's what it's all about. Not being in a rush, not watching what everyone else is catching, not caring what anyone else is catching. I wouldn't even mind if Andy was next to me catching a load and it's like this. It's just about enjoying everything and getting excited by every bite you get. It is without doubt what fishing's all about and how simple and easy it can be. I mean, there's no prepping bait for hours the night before and taking a million different things with you. I mean, I can rock up with 2 bags of pellets, a bit of ground bait, a pack of wafters that I've had for 6 months. Where am I casting to? And you're good to go instantly. Lovely. It's going in beautifully. Them bream must hear it splash and literally be hunting out to find it because they're not on a bed of bait feeding. So they must be like flipping carp on a commercial coming to the noise of the feeder going in. Not really a standard bream fishing, that is it. So, see if I can get this one in and have a quick chat to you a lot about how I've got things on my side tray. Is that sunk? It's sunk. Sink line, get it in there. So yeah, side tray, really simple. You saw me prepping me pellets and I had that bit of ground bait prep before I started. Literally quarter a bag of ground bait, hardly anything, and that's just to play about. But by having the 3 separate tubs, this place is flipping ridiculous. By having the 3 separate tubs, I've got my micros in one, so for one, I can just fish micro pellets. I've got ground bait in one, I can just fish ground bait. I've got my 4 mils in another. They've got a little bit crunchy, but I can just live them up with a little bit of a spray. And they'll go perfect for just 4 mils on their own. And then my last tub is I have my mixing bowl, as I call it. That's the bowl that I have. This is incredible. For the mix, I'm probably going to use most of the day. If I feel I need more 4 mils, great. If I feel like I need ground bait added to the micros, great. That's the one I can do everything with. And I just tend to keep that sort of 3 or 4 feeders worth at a time. So if it comes to it, I can even chuck it and start a new mix really, really easy. I'd say it's so nice being able to vary things a little bit to make sure my feeder's breaking down for how the fish are feeding. So as you can see, there's no waiting for anything to happen on this. I literally want it to break down as soon as it's hitting the bottom because these fish are nearly attacking me feeder. And it's not like small F1s or carp on a commercial that'll avoid my hook bait. These eat the lot. They are racing down on that feeder, eating the lot, clearing it out. Is this a great big one? Oh, it's a better one, yeah. Bit of a bigger one. We got him, we got him. Yeah, they're straight on me feeder, clearing it out. He's a bigger one. That's better. Has he got rid of me feeder? No, he's still got me feeder. Come here. Well, that is what we go fishing for. Borderline special fish. I don't think I've ever caught a 5 or 6 pound bream in a normal commercial before, and that one, I'm going to hold him for you lot. Let's hold him like that. He's quite a new fish as well. He's not an old battered warrior, but a beautiful bream of very, very close to 6 pound. I'm going to say that bad boy. I can barely get my arms around him. And the perfect pleasure session type of fish. As I say, I'm rocking up and I'm catching one a chuck on, what, $5 worth of bait, if that. Just proper, beautiful, lovely fishing that we all miss. I mean, it's what we all want to get back to and do some proper pleasure fishing. That's what it's about, isn't it? So anyway, I'm going to carry on with a bit of luck. We'll stick some photos in at the end or something. I'm going to stay here until midnight. I'm going to stay here all night and hopefully just carry on mixing about with what I'm putting in, having a play with hook bait, seeing if I need a bigger hook bait to avoid these bream. And with a bit of luck, something special might come along, maybe when the light starts to fade a little bit. But I'm going to plug on, enjoy myself more than I have for a long time. Hopefully you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Oh, we on? Right, we couldn't resist one more chat to the camera. I've probably fished for 90 more minutes since I last spoke to you lot. And unfortunately, it is nearly time to go home. And really unfortunately, something special is yet to rock up. But what it has been, it's not individually special. What it has been though is probably one of the most ridiculous sessions bream fishing I have ever had in my angling career, I think. It has literally never been in the water for more than 2 minutes, I'm going to say, without going round with a big snotty one, which it's what pleasure fishing's about, isn't it? The chance of that special day occurring. So I've had to play about though. It's definitely, I've tried just ground bait on its own, hoping I'd bring a carp into the peg. I've also tried to be really selective with just 4mm sticky pellets on their own. But without a doubt, the best bait on, or the best feed to introduce, I've never actually changed with my hook bait. A pink wafter has definitely been the one. Oh, he's a proper one. Oh. The best bait for my feeder has been 70% 2mm sticky pellets, the banoffee ones, to 30%, I got them ratios right, 30% of the 4mm pellets, just to give them something different, as I say, so they're not preoccupied. That is definitely what I've been happiest. I mean, there's far less indications when I'm doing that, and it's proper bites. So they're coming straight to my feeder and nailing the lot because they're not preoccupied by just micros, just fours, or the ground bait itself. So, another proper one. This has been the standard sort of stamp. I mean, without doubt, the last 10 fish I've had will have gone easy £50, easy. This is the average stamp that they've been all day. Oh, he's done a poo. Get rid of the poo. But yes, that's the average stamp of bream we've had on what is quite simply quite a special session on minimal kit, while still having the options to play about a little bit, but really easy. I've rocked up, I've fished for 3 hours, I've prepped my bait, caught a load of fish, and I am going home the happiest lad in the world, covered in 3 tons of bream slime. But still, what a pleasure session that has been.